Good evening, and welcome to a special edition of MSR TV6 News for Thursday, the 27th of October, 2011. Tonight, we will bring you an exclusive interview with the planning committee that is organizing the visit of the Dutch Queen and her family. Stay tuned for this special broadcast after the break. At about 10:30 on November 3rd, 2011, the Dutch Queen Beatrix will be paying a courtesy visit to the island of St. Martin. A committee comprising of 3 men and 4 women was established by national decree. According to the Dutch Prime Minister, Sarah Westcott-William, the official visit has been given 3 themes. They are public health, environment, and education. Some of the immediate events planned for the Queen and her family include the inauguration of the new mental health facilities, presentation by environmental and nature facilities, presentation of the Culinary Arts Division, national manifestation of St. Martin. In this broadcast, we will give you an in-depth look at what is to happen when the Dutch Queen arrives on St. Martin.
Being here at the introduction, launch, if you wish, of the official program of the visit of Her Majesty Queen Beatrix. This visit to St. Martin will start on November 3rd, upcoming, and will last through November 6th. And during the 4th and the 5th of November, Her Majesty will be on St. Eustatius and Saba. This afternoon here, we have 3 members of the official committee that has been established to prepare for the royal visit. And this committee was established in June of 2011 by a national decree. We have to my immediate left, Mr. Marcel Gams, who is the vice chair of the committee. Mr. Kit Franke, the chair of the committee, was unable to be here for this press briefing. However, in addition to Mr. Gams, we have 2 other members of the committee present. We have Mrs. Cassandra Janssen. She is secretary and member of the committee. And next to Mrs. Janssen, we have Emilia Thomas, and she is a member of the committee. Not here with us this morning or this afternoon, but also members of the committee are the following. I mentioned Mr. Franke, the chair already. We also have as members Mrs. Catherine Connor, Mrs. Olga Williams, and Mr. Paul Middlebear. Those persons, along with these present, form the commission as established, as I mentioned before, by national decree of the 9th of June 2011. It is my pleasure and the pleasure of the committee to make known to the press and the people of St. Martin the official program of Her Majesty's visit. And important to note in the context of that visit are the themes of this visit by Queen Beatrix as well as the royal couple. The themes for this royal visit are public health, environment, and education. And as part of these themes, we have scheduled several events fitting with the theme. As I mentioned before, the visit will start on the 3rd of November, and Her Majesty will arrive on St. Martin at 10:30 in the morning at the Princess Juliana International Airport. There are several events planned for that same day, amongst which the inauguration and presentation of the new mental health facilities, the presentation by environmental and nature organizations, and this presentation will take place at the Emilio Wilson Estate. There will also be, and this would now be at 4:40 in the afternoon, a presentation of the Culinary Arts Division at the Sundial School, and of course that will take place at the Sundial School. And that very evening at 8 o'clock, there will be a national manifestation entitled Embracing St. Martin's Traditions. And this will take place at the Clem La Vega Square. The intention with those different events that I mentioned is that the respective ministers will be at the events as mentioned. That would mean that at the mental health facilities, you'll have our Minister of Health. At the Emilio Wilson Estate, you'll have our Minister of Public Works and the Environment, of course. At the Sundial School, you'll have our Minister of Education, and the national manifestation in the evening is hosted by the Prime Minister of country St. Martin. There are several other parts of the program that you will be apprised of, and I will now turn over the mic to Mr. Marcel Gomes, who will add the necessary information to that brief introduction. Mr. Gomes.
Thank you, Madam Prime Minister. The program, as outlined by the Prime Minister, is, let us say, basic, the full program for the day. As mentioned, the Thursday, the royal family will be on St. Eustatius, on Friday on Sabre, and on Saturday evening there will be a dinner for invited guests. That will be hosted by the governor of country St. Martin. Basically, that is it in the program. Nothing much to be added for, let us say, public consumption. The royal family will have its private moments where they would be retreating back and staying within their own circles. I don't know if there's any questions.
We will be before you. Thank you, Marcel. Yeah. And before you go over to the question part, we will be providing you with an outline of the events that I just mentioned, and also specifically a synopsis of the public events, the one at the Mental Health Foundation, at the Emilio Wilson Park, as well as the Sundial School. So you'll be getting, and of course the national manifestation as well, you'll be getting an outline of why the choice, and as I mentioned before, they're based on the themes, but you will be getting that as part of the program. And of course, accompanying the royal family during their visit are approximately 35 press members of the international and especially Dutch press. So they will also be part of the entourage of the visit.
Okay.
And now, Cedric, yes?
Thank you very much, Madam Prime Minister. Members of the media, the floor is open for any questions you might have. I think if one important question is, what is the budget for the royal visit?
The budget for the royal visit at this time is approximately 300,000 guilders. Quite a reduction from the amount that I mentioned several weeks ago, but you would understand the circumstances under which that took place.
A second question, this relates to the national manifestation at the Clemla Square. What are we going to see during that manifestation? Is it performances? What exactly is going to happen? Could you give some more information?
I'll read you from the elucidation that I indicated will be provided, but let me answer the question as well at the same time. This manifestation aims to provide Her Majesty and the royal party with the opportunity to present a taste of St. Martin's tradition by both our older and younger generations, with the emphasis being placed on nation building. Nation building is the conscious and focused application of our people's collective resources, energies, and knowledge. It involves the development of behaviors, values, language, institutions, and physical structures that elucidate our history and culture, concretize and protect the present, and ensure the future identity of the nation. So while it will not be a long presentation in terms of the manifestation, we will try to encompass all that we mentioned here as part of that manifestation.
One final question, if I could. I do not hear, I'm assuming at some point it's going to happen, a meeting between, for example, the royal family and the government of St. Martin, and the royal family and potentially members of the Parliament of St. Martin. Is that also included?
Yes, it is. The royal party will be, and Her Majesty Queen Beatrix, of course, will be visiting the administration building. Her Majesty will be meeting with me, and thereafter will also be introduced to the members of the council, so the ministers. And it is especially during the evening of the national manifestation that the opportunity to meet with the members of parliament will be there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions.
Her Majesty will also, of course, meet with the governor in private on arrival, and followed by a visit to the Prime Minister in private, and thereafter with the Council of Ministers, as was mentioned. But in general, what we can say at this moment is that the desire and intention is for Her Majesty to meet as many people as possible. And that's a challenge in itself to organize, if you understand what I mean.
Protocol-wise.
And again, focusing on the themes, we try to use the different events that are taking place to make it possible to comply with that desire that Her Majesty would be able to meet as many of the persons from the community, and especially those working, having worked in the areas as mentioned.
Daniels, thank you very much for your questions. Bibi?
Is there anything on the program for her to visit any of the foster homes?
No, the program that I gave, the outline that I gave, are actually the events for her visit.
If I could, one more. I remember the last royal visit because I actually covered that one. Road closures, how is that going to work? Because we know typically when the Queen is on the move somewhere, a particular road is closed to the public. Have the logistics on that been worked out?
Yes, everything has been worked out pretty much in detail so far. Of course, with the situation we have in Colby in particular, measures will be taken to make the transport across the road as smooth as possible and as quick as possible. Of course, taking into consideration also the large entourage that is with the Queen. There's some 40 people who will be traveling, besides the press, also with the Queen in her delegation. But the road closures, we're busy still working on it, fine-tuning it. It will be to limit as much as possible the inconvenience to the public. And that is why there will be temporary blockage, but the intention is to make it as less burdensome as possible on everyone. We already have a very tough situation with the traffic, and we have taken that into consideration.
Along with the, permit me to ask the question, along with the 40-something press members that will be traveling with the Queen, how and where does the local press fit in with the accommodations?
The local press will be taken care of properly, respectfully. That is being coordinated by DCOM. They will be responsible for coordinating that, and together with the foreign press. There's 35 members from the foreign press expected traveling with the Queen. We think maybe it will be a little less. We're not sure. We didn't get full confirmation on the visit to St. Martin of all the mentioned, the 35. But DCOM, the Government Department of Communication, is involved in the planning and the preparation as far as dealing with the press is concerned.
Which permits me to add, because I heard the head of DCOM made the call earlier this morning and asking the members of the media to kindly respond to the request that has come from DCOM with respect to the passes. So I just want to reiterate that call and ask you if you haven't yet to respond to DCOM's request for information, etc., for the passes.
We will do our best to accommodate and do everything possible, but I want to make a statement from now that we must also take into consideration that it's a reality. The attention and the protection of the Queen will be different than last time. I'll be honest with you, to be considering that 2 years ago, they had an incident in the Netherlands, if you all will recall. So since that incident, of course, the different measures have been taken around the complete royal family. So from now, I'm sending the message. There will be areas of restriction, and the press, locally and internationally, will be called to please follow the instructions. And there's no favoritism. Nobody's going to get a better shot than the other one, but there will be barriers, and there will be, certain restrictions.
We've come to the end of this special broadcast where you were informed about the visit of the Dutch Queen Beatrix. We will be back tomorrow with our regular newscast. For live streaming, please log on to our website at www.msrcabletv.com. I'm Darius, thanking you for viewing, and have a wonderful evening.